As we've been hearing, the severe drought across the West is causing many problems. My colleagues and I recently went to the San Joaquin Valley in California, where this drought is threatening the drinking supply for thousands of rural residents, as well as the livelihoods for the farmers who grow a significant source of this country's food supply.
How much land is this?
On a dusty road in Madera, California, the temperatures will climb over 100 degrees today. Jaime Rivera's well has run dry.
It hasn't worked for like 3 weeks, and really it hasn't worked for the last 2 years.
Across this parched state, many people living in rural areas can't connect to their local municipal water systems. They're too far away or they can't afford it, so they rely on their own private wells for water. But now, in this house that Rivera and his wife have lived in for 20 years, it's one they share with their daughters and their grandkids, nothing comes out of the tap.
Even though the house is fine, water is the thing you need most. It's indispensable for everything.
Getting water is now a daily chore. They fill barrels and old iced tea bottles at their jobs or their friends' places. And so all the things that most Americans take for granted, flushing the toilet, drinking, showering, doing the dishes, requires this new routine.
We do all this so we don't use too much water. This is the way we're living.
Amid this historic drought, the Riveras have turned to a local nonprofit for help.
They're panicking, they have kids, they need to provide water to their family.
Marlise Diaz works for Self-Help Enterprises. They set up a hotline for residents whose wells have run dry and their phone has been ringing off the hook.
I mean, imagine a day waking up and you go to brush your teeth and there's no water. What do? I don't know, maybe you have a gallon of water at your sink, and so you just have to conserve your water and brush your teeth with a cup. It's like camping in your own home.
But this drought isn't just drying up small private wells. This area, the San Joaquin Valley, is one of the most important agricultural regions in America. Farmers here produce a bounty of food. There are miles and miles of nut and fruit trees across the valley, and millions of beef and dairy cows. Agriculture is an over $50 billion industry in California, and it's a thirsty one, using roughly half the state's total water supply.
And so all of that is affected by drought.
Ellen Hannock heads the Water Policy Center at the Public Policy Institute of California.
This is a region that has evolved with water scarcity. So growers have moved more and more into crops that generate more dollars per gallon of water used. And that means in that region more tree crops, like almonds especially, but also vines and fruits. But it puts them in between a rock and a hard place when you get into a really bad drought.
In a good year, all the snow that falls in the Sierra Nevadas and rains in this area would end up in canals like this. There are thousands of these all over this valley, and farmers use that water to irrigate their crops. But in a drought, like the one we're in right now, farmers have to dig hundreds of feet down into the ground to find other water. As more and more wells tap down into those underground aquifers and pull more and more water out of the ground, this resource is threatened. For most of the state's history, wells could draw an unlimited supply of water. But in 2014, the state passed a law to manage and, in some cases, restrict groundwater use. It hasn't gone fully into effect, but farmers in the region are worried. Some estimates say the law could put 1 million acres of farmland out of production. John Guthrie's family has been farming and ranching in this area for 150 years. He has never seen rainfall levels this low. Given the drought and the looming water restrictions, he says some farmers are getting out.
It's sure sad. I mean, they just don't figure they have enough water to farm what they have right now. It's just a real tumultuous time right now.
Has that feeling ever crossed your mind?
I can't say it hasn't crossed my mind. I don't think I would ever act on it. Mother Nature's our partner, so adversity is just kind of part of your deal. And, we've been through a lot of previous challenges and stuff, and this just feels like another one of those. So,
you think you're going to weather this one?
Yeah, we will. Absolutely.
Guthrie, like a lot of farmers here, thinks the solution lies in doing a better job of capturing excess water in wet years.
The way we get out of this and the way that our forefathers intended it to be was surface water, storage, dams.
More dams along the rivers from north to south.
Yeah. Raise dams, build new dams, fix the infrastructure, the existing canals. The people of the state, or I should say the politicians, need to decide where do they want their food to come from.
But for now, with climate change exacerbating this drought, Ellen Hannock says farmers and residents alike still have to draw from those same underground water sources. And that competition leaves some people dry.
In places that have a lot of agriculture and that also have a lot of small rural communities, you get this situation where the groundwater is really being taxed, and the groundwater levels are falling, and the first wells to go dry are the shallow drinking water wells.
Cristobal Chavez's house in Porterville, California, is surrounded by agriculture. His well went dry for 6 months in 2014. He paid $20,000 to dig it deeper, but then he discovered another problem that's prevalent here: contamination. Tests revealed his well had 4 times the safe limit of nitrates, a potentially harmful chemical found in fertilizers and manure. But you'd been drinking that water for years.
Yeah, that's the problem, because nobody tell you. We was drinking the water for 11 years without notice that the water is contaminated.
So you find out that your water is not safe to drink. What do? The very next day, what do?
We start buying it from the store.
But that's expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive, but it's more expensive if you get sick, you know. And
Right.
it's kind of high, you know, but we don't got another place to go.
Some studies have linked nitrates in drinking water to an increased risk of cancer. And last year, Cristobal's wife, Nora, was diagnosed with stomach cancer. But what caused it is unclear. And there's no fix for that water in the well. Like the aquifer that your well goes down to, that's full of nitrates, and there's nothing they can do about that now.
No, nothing.
Back in Madera, Jaime Rivera does have a solution, albeit a temporary one. Self-help enterprises helped get him this huge tank, and for the next year, it'll be filled weekly with fresh water. For nearly 4 hours, crews work to unload the tank, connect its pipes to the house, and fill it with a couple thousand gallons of water. So finally, after a long, dry spell,
Ahora sí.
Now, yes, the water is here.
and the first step for Rivera, call his wife.
Ya tenemos el agua, ya estaban.
We have water now. Fresh water came out of the faucet.
Ay, qué bueno.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Now you have to do the dishes.
Oh, pues a ver mañana.
We'll see if you cook tomorrow.
Rivera hopes one day to eventually dig his well deeper. But as this drought continues to worsen, it's not clear even that solution will be enough. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm William Brangham in California's San Joaquin Valley.